start my class. Yes, good morning, class. Anil sir, good morning, class. Hope you all are doing well. Student, we are learning chapter 16, water, a precious resource. In previous lecture, we have discussed about how much water is available on earth, what is the percentage of usable water on earth. 0.006%. That much water is available for drinking purpose or different uses. Then we have discussed about different form of water: solid form as snow and ice, liquid in the form of liquid water in ocean, river, lake, even underground water, and the gaseous form means water vapor present in air around us. That are the three different type of water. So let's discuss today topic: groundwater as an important source of water. So open page number 197. Groundwater as an important source of water. If we dig a hole in the ground near a water body, we may find that the soil is moist. What is moist soil? A soil which is having moisture. If we dig a ground nearby a river or pond or lake, the soil is moist, having moisture in it. The moisture in the soil indicate the presence of groundwater. If we dig deeper and deeper, we would reach a level where all the space between particle of the soil and gaps between rocks are filled with water. If we further go on digging, we reach a level where water is available for us. The upper level of this layer is called a water table. The upper level of this layer is called water table. The water table varies from place to place, and it may even change at a given place. The level of water table is not same everywhere. It is different at different places. Water table may be at a depth of less than a meter or even several meter below the ground. The water found below the water table is called groundwater. Groundwater. So groundwater does not mean that the water is on the ground, means in a river, lake, or pond. No, it is not groundwater. The water below the water table. When we go on digging the ground, a level reach where we found water table, and the water below that water table is called a groundwater. So underline this: the water below the water table is called a groundwater. So this is your important term. The first important term is water table. The upper layer of the layer is called water table. The water below the water table is called groundwater. What is the source of this groundwater? From where this groundwater comes? The rainwater and the water from the other sources, such as river, pond, seeps through the soil and fill the empty space and the cracks deep below the ground. Rainwater and the water from other sources like river, pond, lakes, that water is goes in downward direction by seeping. What is seeping? The soil absorb the water, and that absorbed water is going in downward direction. In downward direction. That process is known as seeping. SEEP. Seeps. Seeps से आएगा seeping. The process of seeping of water into the ground is called infiltration. It is another important term. The process of seeping of water into the ground is called infiltration. Infiltration. So, student, underline this. The process of seeping of water into the ground is called infiltration. Again, I am explaining what is seeping. The water from river, lake, pond that is absorbed by the soil, and that absorbed water is moved in downward direction. That process is known as seeping, means absorption by the soil, and that absorbed water is moved in downward direction, and it is stored at some place, and that place is known as water table. And below that water table, water is known as groundwater. And this process of seeping of water into the ground is called infiltration. So underline this. The process of seeping of water into the ground is called infiltration. The groundwater thus gets recharged by this process. So the question is, what is the source of groundwater? The groundwater is, it can be comes from rainwater or the water from sources like river, pond, lake. By which process? By the process of infiltration. So infiltration is the process by which groundwater get recharged. The groundwater thus get recharged by the process of infiltration. At places, the groundwater is stored between layer of hard rock below the water table. This is known as aquifer. That place is known as aquifer. That place is known as aquifer. So student, underline this aquifer. At places the groundwater is stored. Aquifer is the place where groundwater is stored between the layer of hard rock below the water table. So below the water table there are hard rocks. These hard rocks can stored underground water, means groundwater, and that place is known as aquifer. Aquifer. So aquifer बेटा वो जगह होती है वाटर टेबल से नीचे जहां पे हार्ड रॉक्स होते हैं और हार्ड रॉक्स उस वाटर को स्टोर करके रखते हैं. तो वो जो प्लेसेस होते हैं जहां पे ग्राउंड वाटर स्टोर होता है, that places are known as aquifer. So at places the groundwater is stored between a layer of hard rock below the water table. This is known as an aquifer. Water in the aquifer can usually pumped out with the help of tube well and hand pumps. So we dig well and we put some pipe and motor into that well, that is known as tube well, hand pump, or nowadays that tube well are replaced by submersibles. Okay, so from where the water is coming in tube well, hand pump, and submersible, that water is coming from the aquifer, and aquifer is the place where the water is stored below the ground. Okay, so these are pumped out with the help of tube well or hand pumps. So have you ever been to a site where construction work is going on? From where the workers get water for construction. Maybe you have seen boring being done at such sites to reach the water table. With the help of process known as boring, there is a machine which do this activity, boring process, and we in ancient time the we use bore wells We dig wells, but nowadays it is done by machine known as boring machine. Inquire from the people working there how deep they have to dig. So can we keep on drawing water from under the ground? How will it affect the water table? Yes, if we keep on drawing water, the level of water table goes on decreasing, goes on decreasing. So look at the diagram 16.7, groundwater and water table. Groundwater and water table. Okay, so there is a groundwater aquifer, there is a water table. How it is recharged? It is recharged by water cycle, by rain, stream or lake. Okay. The next topic is depletion of water table. What is the meaning of depletion? Depletion means decrease. The level of water table goes on decreasing day by day. The water drawn from under the ground get restored by seepage of rainwater. Rainwater comes on the ground and the soil of the ground absorb that water, and this water goes in downward direction. That process is seepage, and by this process of seepage, this process is known as infiltration, and with the help of this infiltration process, the groundwater gets recharged or restored. The water table does not get affected as long as we draw as much water as is replenished by natural process. Replenished means recharged by the natural process. Means with the help of water cycle or the water from lake or river that recharge the water table, and the amount of water table pumped out is recharged by natural process. The level of water table remains same. But what happens if we draw more water and the seepage process is less? So water table goes on decreasing, gets depleted, depletion of water table. So this may happen due to many regions. However, water table may go down if water is not sufficiently replenished, means recharge, not sufficiently replenished. This may happen due to many regions. What are those regions? These regions are increase in population, industrial and agricultural activity are some common factor affecting water table. Scanty rainfall is another factor that may deplete the water table. Scanty rainfall means less rainfall. So as we know that rainfall is decreasing day by day. So less rainfall is there, less recharge of water table is there. So the level of water table goes on decreasing day by day. Yet another factor affecting water table could be deforestation and decrease in effective area for seepage of water. Deforestation also affect rain. If there is less rain, there is less seepage of water into the ground, and the level of water table goes on decreasing. So let's discuss these factor one by one. So the first factor which affect the water table, due to which water table goes on depletion, you're depleted day by day. The first factor is increasing population. Yes, it is a very large factor which make so much impact on water table. So increasing population create demand for construction of houses, shops, offices, road and pavements. So for the construction of house, road, offices, building, we need lots of water. And this water is pumped out from the under the ground, or we can say from the water table. This decrease the open area like parks and playgrounds. thus in turn decrease the seepage of rainwater into the ground. So by making more houses, more road, more offices, the open area is decreased. Open area for park, playground, this area is decreased day by day. This in turn decrease the seepage of rainwater into the ground. What could be the consequences? Recall that a pakka floor does not allow water to seep in easily. Pakka floor means you can say it is made up of bricks or it is made up of cement, cemented floor, that is known as pakka floor. If there is a pakka floor, seepage of water is less water is absorbed into the soil. While in grass lawn, water seeps through in no time. If the water is in a grass lawn, that water is absorbed by the soil, seeps very quickly. And if that water is stored on pakka floor, that is not seep easily into the soil. Moreover, moreover, a huge amount of water is required for construction work. For construction work, we use lots of amount of water. Often underground water is used for this purpose. So on one hand, we are consuming more groundwater, and on the other, we are allowing less water to seep into the ground. We are consuming more and more groundwater, and there is a less seepage of water into the ground. Means there is no proper recharge of water table. So if this activity is increased, the level of water table goes on decreasing. This result in depletion of water table. In fact, the water table in some parts of many cities has gone down to alarmingly low levels. There are many places where underground water is so deep that it is impossible to pump out that water from that water table. Okay, and increase in population is one of the major factor for decreasing, or we can say depletion of water table. Second factor is increasing industries. Increasing industries. Water is used by all the industries. Almost everything that we use needs water somewhere in its production processes. The thing which we used day by day, they are manufactured in some kind of industries, or we can say in some kind of factories, and all the industries and factories needs water. The number of industry is increasing continuously. Water used by most of the industries is drawn from the ground, means they are using groundwater. Activity 16.4, name some industry familiar to you, make a list of the product obtained from these and use in our daily life. Discuss with your teacher and your parents how the growing industrial activity is responsible for depletion of water table. Yes, student, if number of industries increasing, they needs water, and most of the water used by the industries is drawn from the ground, because we are having a limited number of river, lake and ponds, and rain is decreasing day by day. So not much water is available in river and lake and ponds for industrial uses. So from where they get water, they used water from the under the ground, means groundwater. The another factor is agricultural activity. A majority of farmers in India depend upon rain for irrigation or irrigating their crops. What is irrigation? Irrigating. Irrigation means giving water to the crops. ठीक है, खेतों में जब पानी दिया जाता है तो उसको हम क्या कहते हैं, इरिगेशन. A majority of farmers in India depend upon rains for irrigating their crops. Irrigation system such as canals are there only in a few places. Even these systems may suffer from lack of water due to erratic rainfall. Less amount of rainfall is there, so not sufficient water is available in canals. Therefore, farmers have to use groundwater for irrigation. Population pressure on agriculture forces increasing use of groundwater. So, to fulfill the food requirement for the population, which is increasing day by day, so farmers need to grow more and more food. So, to grow more and more food, they use more and more groundwater. Day by day, this result in depletion of water table. So these are some of the major factor which affecting the water table. So what are these factor? The first factor is increasing population, second increasing industries, the third is agricultural activity. So the next topic is distribution of water. How water is distributed on earth. So student, as we know that water is unevenly distributed on all part of the earth, means some part is having excess of water, some part is having less amount of water, and even there are some places where no water is available in any form, not in river, pond, lake, or underground. Water is so deep that it is impossible to pump that water. So distribution of water is not even at every places. There is uneven distribution of water. The distribution of water over the globe is quite uneven due to a number of factors. Some places have good amount of rain and are water rich. On the other hand, there are desert where which have scanty rainfall, means a very less amount of rainfall is there. India is a vast country and the rainfall is not the same everywhere. Okay, we are having places where um, much amount of water is available, much amount of rainwater is available, and in our country there are some places where a little rainfall is there. So uneven distribution of water is there. Some region have excess rainfall while some other have very little rainfall. Excessive rainfall causes flood, whereas the absence of rain result in droughts. So in India there are some places all over, or we can say all over the world, there are some places where excess of rain is there, and excessive rainwater a major cause of floods. And there are some places where a little rainfall is there, absence of rain is there, which results droughts at that places. Therefore, some region in our country may have flood while other may suffer from droughts at the same time. So activity 16.5, given here is a rainfall map of India 16.8. You just observe this map on page number 200. Okay, all the colors are for different rainfalls. You can see the map given in figure 16.8. So given here is a rainfall map of the India. It gives the average annual rainfall in different region of our country. Locate on the map the place where you live. Are you blessed with sufficient rainfall? Is there sufficient water available in your area throughout the year? It may be possible that we are living in an area where there is a sufficient rainfall, yet there is a shortage of water. Can we attribute this to mismanagement of water resources? So just read this map carefully. Okay, student. If you have any doubt, you may ask your question. Take care. Have a nice day. Yes, student, if any student is having any difficulty,